Unless you're a total Disney fan, we bet you've never heard of some of these unofficial Disney princesses. Stick around until the end to let us know how many of these you've heard before. Now let's check out which Disney princesses are totally forgotten. Giselle from Enchanted. Let's start with one that makes Disney fans feel the most passionate when it comes to the whole forgotten princesses. Giselle could easily be up there with the official Disney princesses, but for some reason, she was left out.
The only things that touch.
Sure, this Disney movie comes with a real-life scenario too, but that's what makes it so special. Giselle is also the only princess that lives in her stereotypical Disney princess world as well as real life.
Morning, Daddy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Made breakfast. Great.
And we all know that those are completely different. The real life totally challenges her slightly naive personality, and she ends up completely changing. She becomes a pretty decent mother figure to Robert's daughter, Morgan too. Seriously guys, Giselle is just one of those princesses that doesn't deserve enough credit at all.
Well, I'm sorry. I was thinking.
Thinking?
Enchanted itself is a pretty adorable movie, especially since it combines the cartoon and the real-life world. We just love it whenever princesses come to life. Seriously, has anyone started a petition for Giselle to be an official Disney princess already? Because if not, someone really should make this happen. Melody from The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea. You know we have talked about Melody too. She belongs to the often overlooked The Little Mermaid sequel called Return to the Sea. But this movie is the ultimate after happily ever after. Melody is Ariel and Eric's daughter, and she's pretty much the exact opposite of her mother. She's a total tomboy, but the two do share a few similarities. Melody, for example, also loves to collect items, but she collects things from the sea, not from the land. Of course she would, since she lives on land anyways.
Come, my darling, your destiny awaits you.
She's also a good singer, just like her mother, and she's a pretty decent dancer. Being a half-mermaid, Melody's life is a bit complicated, and she's often seen as the outcast by normal people. But that doesn't stop her from having an amazingly sassy personality and perfectly relatable lines.
Mom, I'm the princess of disaster.
Seriously, Melody deserves your full attention, and you should definitely see The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea, just because of her. She totally deserves a Disney princess spot. Jane from Tarzan. I, Tarzan, you, Jane. Tarzan is one of the underrated movies that really makes you totally forget about the potential Jane had to be a Disney princess. Jane is an animal researcher. She comes from a middle class, but she doesn't really act like it. You'd expect her to be snotty and bratty at all times, but Jane actually quickly adjusts to the jungle life without any difficulties. Sure, she's still a bit arrogant and slightly naive, but she voluntarily puts herself out of her comfort zone.
Little baby monkey in a drew picture.
Yes, go on.
Suddenly, the monkey starts crying.
This, of course, forces Tarzan to save her, but that's besides the point. She's also one of the few unofficial princesses with a totally regular profession. Come on, name one other princess that was a zoologist. Jane's also a pretty good artist, which comes in handy when she has to sketch the animals. She eventually becomes completely in love with Tarzan and is totally determined to leave the English life behind. Come on, how many princesses would choose to leave their royal castles to go live in the wildlife? Jane is a one-of-a-kind.
You are absolutely impossible. Tarzan. I was so afraid that you wouldn't come in time.
And let's not forget about her unique speaking voice, which is definitely not as soft and melodic as you'd expect. Kida from Atlantis. If you want to see a slightly different Disney movie, you should add Atlantis on your list. It's where you'll meet Kida, a character many Disney fans take as the totally forgotten Disney princess. Let's be honest, we bet Kida is a name you've never heard of before in the Disney franchise, but you definitely should because she'll make you rethink how you see Disney princesses. The official Atlantis story begins with Kida being evacuated from Atlantis as a child. She later joins a group of researchers that help her discover Atlantis' history and life. She also pretty much becomes an actual queen, which is really impressive.
We are not thriving. True, our people live, but our culture is dying.
We won't spoil the actual movie because it's just one of those you have to see. We're also introduced to the researcher Milo, who goes on to be Kida's significant other. But these two totally don't kiss at all in the entire movie, which is really rare for a Disney couple. In a true Disney stereotype, a kiss could pretty much solve all your problems and fix your entire life. Disney fans have actively tried to campaign for Kida to be the next Disney princess.
You do swim, do you not?
Oh, I swim, pretty girl. Pretty good.
Rumor has it that Disney thinks Kida's too old. She'd be around 8,000 years old, which would make her the oldest Disney princess ever. We can see how that would be a problem, but come on, she's the most perfect character to be considered for a princess. Princess Amber from Sophia the First. Sophia the First might seem like it's a bit too babyish for most, but if you're a Disney fan, you shouldn't miss out on this series. Let's be real, it's a guilty pleasure for even some of the adult Disney fans.
Your party is going to be fabulous!
How do you know? Because you have a secret weapon.
The series features plenty of Disney princesses and many of their original voice actresses. Princess Amber is one of those you either totally love or hate. She really has no middle ground. She's known to be pretty spoiled and bratty, as well as totally manipulative. As her character progressed, she was given a slightly more caring side, and she showed she truly loves her family.
So welcome to your day off do-over party!
Sure, she still has some of her old mean-spirited ways, but her character is actually developing into a slightly nicer princess. Plus, you know that all the best Disney princesses come with just a bit of an attitude, so her cold demeanor is perfectly fine in our books.
No matter what I do, I'm always stuck with you.
However, Princess Amber is largely ignored as a princess because, let's be honest, people pretty much dismissed her because of her manipulative attitude at the beginning. Seriously guys, she does get better later on. Ariel Sisters from The Little Mermaid. Ariel is in the spotlight a lot, and she's an official Disney princess. But you know who people really forget about? Her sisters. Ariel has 6 older sisters: Aquata, Adrina, Arista, Athena, Adela, and Alana.
We are the daughters of Triton, great fatherhood love.
They're not the main part of the movie at all, but they do make a few brief appearances. It's actually the sisters that are totally able to tell Ariel is in love. Not much is known about their characters, which is perhaps why they're largely forgotten.
Good morning, girls.
Good morning, Father.
Even in the second movie, only 4 out of the 6 sisters actually have dialogue. Nobody knows how old they are, but it is assumed that Athena is the oldest, as the Little Mermaid Ariel's beginning DVD suggests. The sisters definitely appear in every single Little Mermaid story, but they're never given enough spotlight and backstory.
The world above is a wonderful place.
Maybe it's time for Disney to build a story around these forgotten sisters that should definitely be considered as unofficial Disney princesses. Megara from Hercules. Where do we begin with Megara? Megara, aka Meg, is one of those independent and quick-witted women that makes a Disney movie instantly better. Her personality matches the likes of Princess Jasmine, who's probably just as snarky.
All right, miss.
Megara. My friends call me Meg, at least they would if I had any friends.
But Mogera is a heroine and refuses to be anyone's romantic interest. Her negative opinion of men represents her past experiences. It takes a lot of time for her to even consider getting with Hercules. She's also known to be scared of heights, but she totally overcomes that when she has to save Hercules' life. She also has plenty of flaws, like manipulating young Hercules with her looks in order to get what she wants. But she's still by far one of those characters with a personality that's far from your typical Disney stereotype.
If there's a prize for rotten judgment.
Maybe that's why she never really made it on the official Disney princess list, but she still has a place there in our minds. How could you not fall in love with this sassy and independent princess?
Meg, my sweet.
Don't even go there.
If you've never seen her before, you definitely need to see Hercules. Megara's character will for sure make you question why she wasn't included on the official list. Alon from The Black Cauldron. Here's another name that probably doesn't ring any bells unless you're a hardcore Disney fan. She belongs to the 1985 movie The Black Cauldron. Meet Princess Alon, who is a 12-year-old girl with a very typical Disney princess look.
I thought I heard a noise in here.
But her personality is slightly different than most, as she's not afraid to talk back, and just like Megara, she's immune to boys' charms. Obviously because she's 12, but you know age doesn't mean anything in the Disney world. Alon might have the typical Disney story of being a love interest despite her age, but she's so much more than that. Her best quality are her extensive rants. But she's also extremely affectionate and can be quite emotional.
Ouch! Not afraid? Why, we were running for our lives!
So she definitely has a good mix of both. That would make her a perfect Disney princess. Many still don't understand why Princess Alon wasn't given a Disney Hall of Fame pass. Instead, she became one of the most forgotten princesses ever.
Girl? If it weren't for this girl...
The entire movie is absolutely adorable and a must-see for anyone that needs a break from huge Disney movies. Maid Marian from Robin Hood. A lot of Disney fans tend to point out that if other forgotten princesses are considered, people should also mention Maid Marian from Robin Hood. Robin Hood has had many adaptations through the years, and with it came many portrayals of Maid Marian. In the 1973 Disney movie, Maid Marian is actually a vixen, while in the 2001 adaptation, Robin Hood and Maid Marian are married, and they have a princess daughter. But one thing's for certain, Marian is always considered to be Robin Hood's love interest.
Oh, Clucky, surely he must know how much I still love him.
She's pretty much always presented as an admirable woman that's often noble and confident. Her love for Robin Hood is completely sincere, and there are no strings attached. She also has an independent side, and what's likely most unique is the equality she has to Robin Hood. Considering the times in which the original Robin Hood was written, this makes Marian one of the most progressive female characters in English literature. You go, Marian. Besides, why shouldn't she belong on the Disney Princess list, considering her daughter is also a princess? We're telling you, kids today missed out on a bunch of iconic characters, but we're not done yet. We just have to talk about these two underrated characters. Chiara from The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. When it comes to lionesses, Disney isn't really giving them the praise they deserve. We'll talk about the ultimate lioness in just a little bit, but first we have to discuss Nala's daughter. Chiara might have appeared in the underappreciated Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, but that doesn't mean she doesn't deserve to be on the unofficial Disney Princess list. Chiara is one of those rebellious and wild characters that doesn't really like to be at home 24/7. She's pretty much just like her mother. She's actually the future queen of the Pride, and although she resents it as a kid, she learns to accept it later.
As future queen...
What if I don't want to be queen? It's no fun.
She's actually the future queen of the Pride, and although she resents it as a kid, she learns to accept it later on. She's incredibly headstrong, which is always an admirable trait in any Disney princess. Along with being independent and self-sufficient, Chiara comes with a lot of attitude, which is especially aimed toward her older brother. Let's just say there's a lot of sibling rivalry going on. She's just one of those characters that doesn't take advice seriously unless she can learn it on her own.
Father, please reconsider.
You will not go anywhere without an escort from now on.
Overall, she has a pretty well-rounded personality that definitely deserves a place on the Disney Princess list. Sure, she might not be human, but let's be honest, Disney animal characters have always been the best anyways. Nala from The Lion King. But if we talk about Chiara, we have to talk about the OG, because without Nala, there would be no Chiara.
Come on, I just heard about this great place. Simba, I'm kind of in the middle of a bath.
And Nala was the ultimate totally forgotten character that deserves a Disney princess spot. She gets overshadowed in the movie by funny characters like Timon and Pumbaa. But we can't forget just how brilliant she is. She's frequently considered to be a Disney princess by the hardcore Disney fans, and we can definitely see why. As a kid, Nala is extremely sassy and has a lot of attitude.
So where are we going? It better not be any place dumb. No, it's really cool.
But when she gets older, she becomes headstrong and ready to take on responsibility. She's one of the most sensible characters in the movie and isn't afraid to verbally stand her ground. She's pretty much Simba's voice of reason, which is very much appreciated.
You've been alive all this time. Why didn't you come back to Pride Rock?
And of course, she was the one that brought Simba back to Pride Rock in the first place. As a mother, she is absolutely amazing when it comes to parenting Chiara and Kion. She later becomes slightly more reserved when she becomes a queen, but that only makes her cooler. She's truly always able to bring out the best in almost everyone, which is a perfect Disney princess trait. BRB, time to rewatch The Lion King. But before you go, make sure to tell us which unofficial Disney princess is your personal favorite and why. Have we missed any? Let us know in the comments. And that's it for our video. Don't forget to subscribe to The Things for more feel-good content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.